So it's 3:07 here in France. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar. So far we have 32 participants, so I think it's safe to go now. Again, welcome to the webinar. Today we're going to talk about the 2024 call for proposals initiated by 1000 Farms for catalytic small projects. Jacob, if you can pass a slide, please. So this is the agenda for today. We will do some presentation of the team, a few house rules, an introduction of what 1000 Farms is, of course, the details about the call for proposals. And at the end of the webinar, we will have some questions and answers. So just please bear in mind that if you want to talk, please raise your hand. Okay, I will give you more details during the house rules, but right now you can't unmute yourself. All right. So now Jacob will talk about the presentation of the team.
Okay. Hi everyone. So we'll be presenting to you. Stefan Angedugo is not here right now. He's in a meeting, but the other three colleagues are here. We'll be talking to you about the 1000 Farms call for catalytic projects. So my name is Jacob van Nutten, and the Director for Digital Inclusion in the Alliance of Biodiversity and SIAD, and also the project lead on 1000 Farms. Also, we have Grecia, of course, on the call. You've already met Grecia Benavente, who's the project manager for 1000 Farms, and Cauê de Sousa, who is the lead on the 1000 Farms course activity in the project as well, and also data scientist in the digital inclusion team. So we will be talking with you about this call. If you have any questions, note them down, write them in the chat, or at the end, you can also talk, of course. So back to you, Grecia.
Yes, thank you, Jacob. So yes, now just a few house rules very quickly. Well, the audio will be muted and it will be the same for us. So whenever we're not talking, we will just unmute ourselves. And if you have something to say, please just raise your hand. Next, if you have any questions that are complex, please do keep them for the end. It will be about a 15 minutes presentation from our side, and then it will be all question and answers. Next slide. However, if you have any simple questions, you can just use the chat for that. It's open for everyone, so don't hesitate to use it. Now, Cauê will talk about what is 1000 Farms. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending this event. So as Jacob already presented, so I don't need to introduce myself again. So let's go to the topic. So 1000 Farms is it's a project, of course, but ideally a platform to support the NARIs and CGIAR in implementing a network on breeding for on-farm testing. So one of the goals, of course, is to generate sufficient data and product insights for late-stage selection of candidates. And of course, the data that we generate here is around, it should be high quality. So everything that goes let's say on the idea of 1000 Farms is actually to generate high quality data with at scale to support the breeding programs. So in that case, we have the tricot approach, which is one of the key elements of the project. Also, tricot approach is supported by the ClimOp software suite, which is let's say the ecosystem that we have around the approach. And of course, we cannot implement tricot and either use ClimOp without on-farm testing community. And the idea is to have this community working on ClimOp, which is this tool that we developed in collaboration with many NARIs in Africa to support on-farm testing. So this is just an overview on how tricot approach works together with ClimOp. So basically ClimOp this is the software that we developed, And then just for the sake of fitting this this screen, here you have 5 varieties being tested in a specific project. And then CleanUp, using CleanUp, you can use the incomplete block design to allocate 3 varieties to each farmer participating in the trial. They implement the trial in their own farms using their own management practices, and all evaluations are done using rankings, which are a simple solution and also very effective way to collect data in farms. We also use quantitative data, of course, but the focus in CleanUp and Tricot is using rankings. And then all the data is collected using ODK and other the digital tools that we also implement on CleanUp. And then the data is analyzed and put all together and analyzed with the reports that is generated by CleanUp software. So next. And of course, this is implemented by the digital ecosystem that you, as a member of this community, make and contribute to it, is using CleanUp as, let's say, the brain of everything, and also supported by other tools that we developed in collaboration with Enaris and CGIAR. So this is, for example, one example. Now we can come from testing at the farm level, and then since we do this at a scale, like this is. You see that in these points that in the corner in the bottom, you see these points. So because we have the data at scale in different seasons, we can easily track the performance of these crops across the seasons, and then we can provide recommendations like this map that you see for Nicaragua in 2015. Next. And I think I already, this is my part, no? So thank you.
Thank you, Kawe. Now, Jacob will talk a little bit about the call for proposals and give a few more details about it.
Thanks, guys. I didn't realize it was my turn. Okay, so the purpose of the call is all these things that you see on the slide. So we've created this approach. Many NARES are already implementing it, but also we want to so expand the use, right? But also use it as an opportunity in 2 things. So one of it is what I already said, so learning about the Tricot approach and implementing it in a low risk way if you haven't done it yet, if you want to scale it further, etc. So that's where the funds are. But also then to expand its use beyond the group that is using it already. So also within the projects trying to expand it to other crops. So that's why we're asking you not to work only on one crop. So it's actually one reason. There's several reasons for that. So that there's more awareness across the different NARES about how it works. People have the feeling in practice of how it works. But also we use these projects as an opportunity for all of us to learn in the sense of new methodology. So there's always more to learn, small changes that can be made in the methodology or larger changes, new ways of engaging with the farmers, new ways of doing things. So that's also something that we are very interested in. So we have many questions like why are farmers participating in the trials, and how can we make them even more engaged? What are farmers interested in? Because kind of the secret of Tricot is that farmers actually like it. So improving that aspect, or maybe looking at a different type of trial that looks at G/E interactions or the combinations of options. For example, not just varieties, but also agronomic inputs. So there's many different things that you can think about in terms of improving the Tricot methodology. Also involving other digital tools, sensors, measurements. You can come up with all sorts of ideas in this. And the interesting thing is that then we can share those learnings with the larger platform of people that are already using Tricot. And other people can then learn from you if you implement these kinds of things. And then one of the most important aspects of this call is that we would like to expand the collaborations, right? So TriCot is a very different way of doing on-farm testing. It engages the farmer more, also makes it easier to do it in the field. That allows us to also work with different organizations, NGOs, farmer organizations even can be quite effective in implementing the TriCot approach. We've seen that in many countries already. So that leads to different ways of doing partnerships around on-farm testing. So usually what we've seen many times is the breeding teams themselves set up the trials because it's quite small, and then you can still do it, right? Breeders go out, work directly with the farmer, set up a small set of trials and go back to evaluate. Now with TriCot, we can do things in very different ways, right? So farmer organizations, NGOs, extension agents, of course, can do a lot of the work. That can make it cheaper, can make it more effective. We can reach more farmers and different areas in the country, so we can actually cover very well our different environments, which is also needed for on-farm testing. But it also requires a new way of working. How do we effectively engage with the extension service? How do we agree with them about the objectives? How do we make them also really part of it and even invest some of their own resources, staff time, but also even operational budget into on-farm testing so that it becomes much more effective? Yeah. So when agricultural research institutes were set up in the 1970s, 1980s, etc., there was always this idea that the research should connect through a technology transfer with the extension system, and that should happen at scale. And of course, the on-farm validation and this kind of process should be part of it. And then in the end, very few times it actually happened because of all sorts of issues. But we believe that with TriCot, many of the challenges that we had in the past can be solved, and the still remaining challenges, we need to overcome them. And so one of the goals of these projects is also to learn about this aspect of how to set up new collaborative multi-stakeholder agreements to make on-farm testing more efficient and more effective. So these are the goals. Your project should be strong in at least one of these goals, right? So you should, or you're proposing a new methodology, or you're proposing something super innovative in terms of setting up collaborative agreements. And then in all the cases, you'll be implementing TriCot in a practical way, and you'll be also creating awareness. So that's from those goals, we have the requirements, right? So the requirements are to ensure that all the projects kind of contribute to the overall goals of 1000FARMS. So what we have promised to the Gates Foundation, who is our funder, and also that we achieve these goals that we set. So there needs to be an ongoing collaboration with one or more of the CGIAR centers on crop breeding. So we are supporting CGIAR NARES breeding networks in this grant. That's the interest of the Gates Foundation in this. So that's a requirement. So if you have worked actively on breeding with a CGIAR crop breeding program on one of the CGIAR mandate crops, or if you've done that in the recent past, you can fulfill this requirement. So the second requirement is a very important one, and so we would like to see projects that work with not just with one crop, but with two or more. So if you only work on one crop, you will need to find a colleague, another breeding program to collaborate with. And what we want to achieve with this is that you think very critically about how to reach efficiency and effectiveness. So if we have different breeding programs, or at least different crops working with the same network of farmers or the same organizations who mobilize the farmers, we can gain efficiencies. So that is part of the innovation on the collaboration side that we would like to see. Maybe you want to set up a trial that involves intercropping, for example, and that's the way in which you integrate the two crops, and you make the maize program collaborated with the bean program, for example, to look at intercropping or cassava and beans. That's one way to do it. Or you work with the same organization, farmer organization between two crop breeding programs, and you collaborate. So this will help you to do more kind of cross learning between crops, and it also forces us in a way to be more efficient and effective. And the other one is willingness to learn about tricot, improve on-farm or consumer testing practice, and actively work with other organizations in making on-farm testing more collaborative. So this is also that tricot has a certain philosophy about it, behind it, right? It's really about testing in use environments. So you really need to take that on board and try to learn about tricot if you haven't worked so much with it. If of course some people in the partner need to be in a training, needs to have been in a training, but maybe not all of the partners. It's really about the methodology, right? It's not just reaching X number of farmers with your on-farm trial, and that's it. It's about making that process more efficient and effective, so that we can also be much more ready for new investments in a more demand-led type breeding. Yeah, so we need better insights from farmers to be ready for demand-led breeding. We also believe that breeding can be much more attractive to invest in, both to national governments and to international donors, if you have a good idea about the demand side. Yeah, so it's really about becoming very good at on-farm testing and consumer testing, so that we can show to the investors who invest in our activities that we are having impact, and that we are really supplying to an existing demand. And then the fourth one is that you have completed a training in tricot and ClimOp, the digital platform, through the Alliance, IATA, or CIMMET. Yeah, so all three centers have been offering these kinds of trainings. Not the whole team needs to have undergone a training, but at least one of the people in the team needs to have done the training, so that you become eligible for this funding. Now, there's other requirements on the right side, where we have like it's also at different stages. Maybe you've done the training, but you have not yet implemented tricot, and now it will be your first time. So that's where this funding helps you to get on track to really start doing it. Maybe you've already implemented tricot, so then, of course, there are many next challenges, and one of the next challenges could be that you really start to think critically about the collaborations between the multiple stakeholders. Or you have implemented tricot already, but you have really a nice idea to improve it, or to have some methodological innovation. So the things that I mentioned before, other inputs, other ways to engage with farmers, digital tools, these kinds of things. And here your ideas are really welcome. If you want to discuss them with us, you're also welcome to reach out. So these are the requirements. So you really need to think about what is the spirit of this call, right? It's about methodological and innovation. It's really about doing things in a different way, in a better way, recognizing that on-farm testing has not always been very effective or scalable, and that now together we can move forward. It's also not to say that tricot is perfect, right? Or ClimOp is perfect. It's actually about the improvement and you helping the community in general to improve and coming up with your new ideas and testing those new ideas in terms of collaborations and methodology. So here's some of the details. Should I, Grace, you take it over from here?
Yes, of course. So for those of you who were aware of the 2023 call that we did, this is pretty much similar to it. We are looking to fund up to 5 catalytic projects for a maximum of $20,000. The activities, however, included in the proposal should end no later than August 2025. And this is because ourselves, we have some reporting responsibilities. So this would help us to be on time as well. Then with regards of the payment terms, this we would do a first payment of 80% of the funds requested at the signing of the agreement, and then 20% once you have uploaded all the data into ClimeUp and you have submitted to us a short technical report. Now, with regards of the activities as well, please take into account that this proposal that we're asking from you does not necessarily have to start now. It can be as part of an ongoing project. And with this 20,000, we would just top up any costs that you may require to cover. Next slide, please. With regards of the timeline, so we are right now on the, let's say, the second stage of the whole process. You still have some time, about a week, to submit any questions to us. Thanks to all of you that already sent out some questions as well, because that helped us redirect this webinar. So I hope that so far we're answering your questions. Then we will have a little bit of time to answer those questions. And then the most important deadline is the deadline for the submission of your applications, which is on the 30th of June. All of the documents that you need are within our website. I will send you the link in a few minutes. I've seen that some of you also have asked to have an editor's right to the template. I can give you the rights. I can send you the template as well. It's just that if we give everyone the editor's right, then there might be some changes that we would like to avoid in the template. Then after the deadline on 30th of June, we will have the panel will have 1 month to assess all of the proposals received. And then we should be sending some award announcements by email around the second week of August. Thank you, Marcia. All right, so then ideally we would be signing the grants on the second week of September, and then the first disbursement around end of September and beginning of October. Yes, so one thing that's very important is that at the moment, actually, I will talk about this in the next slide. Please, Jacob. About the submission, this is something very important. We are requesting you to send 4 documents in total. So one, of course, the template of the call for proposals completed, which includes also the timeline and a budget. Then a few documents that will definitely help us fast forward the whole signing process, which is the due diligence declaration completed, a bank certificate, and the registration of the organization that's applying for this grant. Last year, that helped us a lot to make the process a little bit faster. And so we would really appreciate that you do this again this year for those that submitted a proposal in 2023 and want to resubmit for this year. So that's all from our side. Now let's go to the question and answers. So let me check in the chat. I haven't seen any question yet. but there's someone, yes, someone requesting to have access to these slides, of course. I will put the presentation online. There's a link where you can have access to all of these documents. I will put it right now on the chat. And this is where you can find the call for proposals. You can find the template for the proposals. Last year was a little bit more open. This year it follows a different format, like a table format, so that we make sure that everybody is answering the same questions, and we're not missing any details, any important details from you. And then there's also the due diligence form that I was mentioning earlier, that we need you to complete and to sign as well. And then, yes, the budget template. So that right now there are two budget templates, one in Word and one in Excel. This would be for the finalists. Let's say we have a first stage where we receive just a simple budget accounting for the budget that you're requesting for, let's say the 20,000. But at a later stage, we're asking a little bit more details with regards of this budget, because we will definitely need that when it comes to reporting the funds dispersed from our side to the donor as well. Yes, as Marcia, she is part of the 1000FARMS team. She's the main assistant of our project and of the whole digital inclusion program, lever. And she's reminding us that the bank certificate should be a letter-headed document, which includes the name of your institution or the account holder, as well as any the bank account details, right? It's not a document that you provide for us, that you make for us. It has to come from the bank itself. So I don't see anyone raising their hand so far, or any other questions on the chat. Florence, you have your hand raised. Let me unmute you right now. You can talk.
Thank you. I was asking on the TriCode training, do you provide them online or it's physical? Like if someone want to participate in the training, like in my case, I'm working with a research department in Malawi, and we are also working with IITA on the on-farm testing, like the TriCode one. So for us, we were just like told, we had those videos and the like for on how to use the TriCode, all those, the Cremo, all those app. So I wanted to cross check if you provide the TriCode training. Thank you.
Yeah, can answer that one. Hi, Florence. So it's pity. 2 weeks ago, I was in Malawi doing a TriCode training, you know. Which crop you work with?
Soybean.
Soybean. Okay. So we have the training
And
online.
I have a team. I have a
Yes.
team of field officers.
Okay. I was there in Lilongwe 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
So there are many options to do this. So one option right now is that you can watch the videos that I share with you, and then you request a Q&A with me or Stephen, and then we go through the details with you on the training. And depending on when you want to implement, we are also planning to do a training in Tanzania, Uganda this year as well, presential training. So for the training, to be honest with everybody in this room, is better. Is this like you can watch the videos, and if you have any questions, you request a Q&A with me and or Stephen. This is one option. And and or we can also adjust based on the trainings that we have planned for this year. We have one trip for Uganda, Tanzania, and then another one for Ghana and Benin for this year. So we can also discuss this depending on the calendar of your crop. But I think that each group we should discuss the details case by case. But for the Catalytic grant for last year, for example, most of the teams, they didn't do the training before applying for the grant. So I
Yeah.
think that the only thing that you need to do is that you talk with me or Stephen to so we know that you are applying without the training, and then we already know that you are looking for it as well. Okay?
Okay, all right. Then you share me your email addresses as well.
Yes. I add here in the Q&A, and I will add to the chat. Okay?
Okay, all right. Thanks.
Thank you, Florence, for your question. Now, there's also Stephen who would like to talk. Stephen, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. Hello everyone. Can you get me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, my question is on the application. Are you I joined in slightly late, so I don't know whether that information was shared. I was wondering if you are going to provide a template of some sort so that we use that for the application, or are you expecting that each applicant just pushes in whatever they're thinking about?
So there is a template that we kindly ask you to complete. The template can be found in the Google Drive folder that I shared earlier. I will just copy paste it again. And so there's a few questions there that we require you to complete, so that all of the proposals that we receive are, let's say, homogeneous. Does that answer your question, Stephen?
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah.
All
No,
right.
that's all. That's all.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Now let's move to Davis. Davis, please unmute yourself and let us know what your question is about.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Tricode is a very good program. I had some encounter with CIMIT. They had taken us through. So my question is, how accessible is information on the Tricode platform? Is it accessible when you are offline, or can you only access this? All the data will be collecting when you are online. Thank you.
Jacob, would you like to reply?
Yes, so ClimOp, yes, it's an online platform that works from your browser with an internet connection. The data can be downloaded, right? So you can work with the data on offline as well. You can download it as in different formats. So, and then also in terms of uploading the data, like from the field, it's with ODK, and that also doesn't need to be online always, right? You can insert the data in ODK while you're in the field without being connected to the internet, and then when you are connected to the internet, you can upload it either through the data of a mobile phone or through Wi-Fi, if you connect your phone to the Wi-Fi in the office, for example. So to work actively with the platform, you do need an internet connection, but you don't need a constant internet connection, right? So you and you can work with the data also offline. You can download the data. It's not just the data doesn't it's not a prison of data, the platform, right? It can be taken out. But I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Great.
Thank you, Davis, for your question. Firmina, Firmina, it's your turn now. Please let us know if you can unmute yourself. Firmina, you now let us know if you can, well, let us know if you can unmute yourself. You should now be able to. Or if this doesn't work, you can raise your question on the Q&A section or on the chat. You should be able to click on unmute now. Okay, let's wait a little bit for Firmina then. So there is a question on the chat from Renatus. He is asking, which crops are we supporting? Kawe or Jacob, who would like to answer?
Yeah, we typed it in the chat. So the idea is that you include at least one mandate crop of the CGIAR. So you know that probably if you're working with an active breeding program, but you can include other crops as well. So for example, if you want to include a vegetable or do an intercropping with another crop that is not a CG mandate crop, that is fine as well. One crop should at least be a CGIAR mandate crop because of the nature of the funding that we receive from the Gates Foundation and what we promised us to support the CG NARS networks. Doesn't mean that you cannot include also another crop. Usually, if it's intercropping or maybe you're already working on another crop, or you could be interesting to have a collaboration with another breeding program that is not necessarily a CG crop, but that is a crop that is important in your country. All of that is fine.
I just
Yeah.
No, I just on still on the training because I see that Alan Molly he wrote something about let us apply. So to correct me if I'm wrong, but we are not. You can apply even without the training, provided that you talk with me or Stephen to guarantee that we are going to provide the training to you. Okay. So don't worry, the training should not be your what is holding you back to apply. Please apply, even if you didn't receive the training. The only thing that I request from you is that you communicate with me or Stephen to have this like agreement that you contact us. So then when we evaluate your application, we already know that you contact us. Okay. Yes.
Thank you, Jacob and Kawa, for answering this question. Sorry, I marked a question on the Q&A section as answered live. This is about whether applicants have to concomitantly meet all the 5 requirements or just 1 requirement per group. So in the presentation that Jacob made, there are 5 requirements from which 4 are absolutely necessary. Like I don't know, Jacob, if you still have the slide around.
Let me share it again.
Having the ongoing collaboration with the CGR Center, doing active breeding programs for 2 at a minimum of 2 crops. That's also mandatory. The willingness to learn about tricot and having completed the training in tricot. Those 4 are mandatory. And then 1 of the right part of the slide. 1, it's either you haven't implemented tricot yet, or you have implemented it, but you're proposing innovative collaboration. Or if you're proposing methodological innovation or evaluation. So it's basically 4 plus 1 of the other 3. I hope I answered your question, Dedeo. Then there is also a question open from Michael about the due diligence declaration. So the due diligence is a document that is part of the Google Drive folder that I shared with you. This document is an Excel file basically, and it should be completed, signed, and stamped. And it's part of a process that the Alliance does every 3 years. So if you currently have an ongoing contract agreement with the Alliance, then we don't need it. But if you don't have any, then we do need this document to be signed. I have been told by the contract manager that the partner needs to submit evidence of your legal status, and the registration documents also have to be valid at the time of the submission of the due diligence. The due diligence also has to be completed in English or Spanish, because those are the Alliance official languages. And as I mentioned before, thanks to Marcia for reminding it, the bank account certification has to be a letterhead, right? So, Michael, I hope I answered your question. Florence, she wants to know if she wants to participate in the training of Tanzania, what are the requirements? Kawe, maybe you would like to answer this live?
I was reading the chat, so sorry, can you repeat?
Sorry, yes, there is a question from Florence. She wants to participate in the training in Tanzania. She would like to know what the requirements are to participate in the training.
No, there is no requirement. Actually, we are now working on the dates to have that. So if you send me your email, I put my email in the chat. So if you send me your email, I will keep your name in my list, and I will remember you when we do the training. So probably in August. Okay,
All
so
right.
no requirement right now. Where are you based, Florence? In which city of Tanzania?
Let me allow her to talk.
Florence, no? Florence.
Florence, yeah.
And I'm based in Lilongwe, Malawi, but it's not far to
Ah,
Tanzania.
yeah, you were okay. Yeah, you were doing from Malawi. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yes.
Yes, okay. Yeah, so yeah, send me an email, and then I will keep a list of people that are in East Africa interested in that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank you, Florence. Another question for Davis. You can now talk on Davis.
Hi. So I was
Hi.
looking at the website which you pasted in the chat, 1000farms.net. On the technical reports, or rather on the call for proposals related documents, and it directs you to a Google Drive. The Google Drive is locked. I don't think it's public, because this one we need access.
Okay, thank you. Right now I see that anyone with the link has viewer access.
Okay.
So it should work. Otherwise, you can ask to have access directly through Google. Then I will receive an email and I will give you access. But normally this should be open for everyone.
For now, try the link in the chat as well, Davis, because that one was working for me just now. There's another link in the chat. If you scroll up almost to the beginning, there's a link as well. I don't know if the link is exactly the same, Gracia, but
Yes, it is the same.
they should be the same. But yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You can go to the question from Pascual from Angola about the biochar.
Yes.
Yeah, so the 1000FARMS project, the right now it's a bit limited to breeding, right? So it should be about breeding in the end. Evaluating recently like candidates for release. If you can combine your project with that, I think we could like squeeze in also the biochar as a treatment to test that. But the main thing is it is aiming at the breeding programs. Yeah. So if we can maybe talk about it if you have a more concrete idea. But it needs to be also focused at breeding.
Thanks for your question, Pascual. I hope that Jacob managed to answer it. I see that there's also a question about how can people benefit from a training in Angola, which Kawe already answered on the chat. It's great, Kawe, that you can provide an online training in Portuguese for
Yeah.
people in Angola and Mozambique.
Yeah, send me a call, guys, him as well. So we agree on a date and then we do it online for now. Unfortunately, I cannot be everywhere. And then we agree on a date for this in Portuguese. Português do Brasil. Okay.
All right. The grantees will probably need to provide a financial report. Yes, we don't have a template.
Can you
for that.
delete your comment, guys, because it's wrong?
Yes. Sorry, thank you. Yes, a financial report will be needed at the end, very simple one. But we haven't worked on a template yet. We have to check with finance about this, but this will be at the very end of the project. So there's still a little bit of time for that. Any other questions? Where we still have 6 minutes to our webinar, but I think that there are no other questions. Oh, yes, one from Stephanie. Does your budget template include eligible and ineligible expenses? No, everything is about eligible expenses such as consultancy, travel, personal. It is based on the same budget, the budget classification that we received from the donor. I hope that answered your question, Stephanie. Otherwise, let me know. Yes, okay, she's saying thank you, so that answered. Well, it's 5 minutes to the end of our webinar. There's another question from Eric. I am in the eastern part of Congo. What is the requirement to participate to the training, which will be organized in Uganda? This is a similar question that we received earlier, to which Kawe said that there are actually no requirements. Eric, if you would like to participate in the training, just put your email on the chat, and Kawe will get in touch with you once he has the confirmed dates. Do we support equipment used in research, such as seed counter? Yes. Jacob, please confirm with me, but yes.
Yes, everything that is reasonable as an expense in the project, you can put it in the budget. Just make sure it's reasonable in terms of the effort that you do. Like if you're just going to reach 20 farmers and you have the 20,000, it's not reasonable, for example. These kinds of expenses, yes, put them in, but they're absolutely useful. So seed counting is an important one, and it's very important to have the same number of seeds in every bag. Because what sometimes happens is that if the seed weights are slightly different, people do it by weight. They may have more seeds for one variety than for another, and you get different yield levels because of that. But it's actually related to the density. So having a seed counter is a good investment, very reasonable. Put it in the budget. and put a little explanation why you need it, and that's okay. Yeah. So it's quite flexible, this kind of grant. It's not a lot of money, but it's quite flexible and not a lot of work in terms of administrating it, right? Because we're not requiring a financial report. We're just judging the proposal on whether it's reasonable what you're planning to do. And then it's quite light in terms of the reporting. The main thing is that, of course, the data needs to be there and a technical report. Yeah. So in that sense, it's a very nice type of grant.
Thanks, Jacob. So there is a question from Renatus. You can unmute yourself now.
Okay. I was asking that, does your project cover the charges or the fees for the registration of the varieties after having collected all the data and having analyzed it and getting the data you want? So can that project support the release fees for the seed release agencies, or only the field work, the trials, the collection of the data and the analyzing on the CRIMO? That's my question.
Okay, let me sort that out, Renatus. I actually I've never thought about that one. We can let's look. I think it depends on how much it is, right? I mean if that is the majority of what you will spend the money on, then probably not. If it's a small part of the budget, yes, probably it's okay. Yeah. So it needs to be reasonable in terms of what the spirit is of the call as well, right? So it's not really aiming at variety release per se, but of course that's an important step as well. So if that's a relatively small part of the budget, that would be okay. If it's really the majority of the budget, then that kind of undermines the goal of the call. Then I would say no. But if you have doubts about it, send an email and we can look at it, so we can actually kind of officially respond to you, so you have that to when you submit, so we have that clarity. Yeah. So but it's a new question. It's not something we have thought about. So
Yes, indeed.
Something I created this form. I put in the link and I will put it again 3 times the same link. This is the link if you want to have training. So please register there, put your name, your email, and then I will contact you. Gracia, if you have the emails for the people that attend this, please you just send it again just to.
Yes, by the end of the webinar, we will have a list of the participants.
Yes. So put your name there, and then I will know which country you are, which crop. So then I can arrange by crop, by country, by idiom, by language. So for French, we have people in IIT that do the course in French as well. So it's much better. For Cameroon, for example, I see that people from Cameroon or Congo, someone wrote DR Congo. So we also have in French as well. Okay.
Thanks everyone for your interest on getting tricot training. This is really exciting. So we have Michael with the last question for our webinar. Michael, you can unmute yourself now.
Yes, I'm Michael from Zambia Agricultural Research Institute. That's where I'm working from. I'm working with the maize breeding team. We do collaboration with Summit in terms of on-farm trials, and currently we've got some varieties that are undergoing value for cultivation and use, that is multi-location trials. Now, I would like to find out, does it mean now we have to work with any other crop like beans, cowpea, or how at this stage, how?
Answer the first part of your question, Jacob Ricoe.
yes, so if you're working only on maize, you need to find another breeding program to collaborate with, basically. Yeah, and work also with another crop.
Thanks, Jacob. Michael, we can't hear you anymore. But again, you still, the webinar is almost reached the end. It's a little bit past the time, but if you still have any questions or anything, please don't hesitate to send me an email. I will put my email here on the chat. And you still have a few more days, one more week to send us any questions that you may have or that may arise after the webinar. This webinar has been registered and it will be posted online on the YouTube channel of Climb Up. So if you want to share it with any colleagues that you know that would like to apply for this call, don't hesitate to share it with them. Also keep an eye on our social media channels for any updates on this call, or also if you have any questions, you can post them there too. So thank you very much. If you would like, again, if you would like to participate in a training, please just on a TRICO training, of course, just go to the forms that Kawe shared a little bit. If you scroll up a little bit, I'm just copy pasting it again. So yes, thank you so much for your interest in TRICO, and we're really looking forward to receive all of the proposals that you guys have to send, as well as any questions or recommendations. Yes, so Jacob, Kawe, would you like to say something else? Otherwise, we can finalize this call. Again, thank you very much and hope to read from you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Good luck with the proposal. Thank you very much.